Good afternoon again. Welcome to the Subcommittee on Oversight, Investigations, Accountability, and the Subcommittee on Border Security and Enforcement's joint hearing on returning immigration parole to its proper statutory purpose. First, I would like to thank our witnesses for being here today. This hearing was originally planned for April 8th. However, due to last-minute and unforeseen circumstances, it had to be postponed until today. And we appreciate our witnesses' understanding and grateful you can be here to talk about this important matter. On the note of witnesses, unfortunately, due to a flight cancellation, one of our witnesses, Charles Marino, will not be able to join us today. I would like to welcome the gentleman from Louisiana, Mr. Carter, who will serve on the Oversight, Investigations, and Accountability Subcommittee for the 119th Congress, and we look forward to working with you. We are here today because Congress must find a legislative answer to prevent the future abuse of parole, whether that means changing the standard for parole, expediting removal of paroles, or eliminating parole access to welfare benefits. We must act so that another administration cannot repeat or even worse, expand what occurred during the Biden-Harris time period. From February 21 to February 2025, under the Biden-Harris administration, U.S. Customs and Border Protection encountered more than 11 million illegal aliens nationwide. According to our witnesses today, nearly 3 million individuals who had no legal reason to be in the United States were allowed through an unlawful mass parole program, were paroled into and by an overwhelmed Border Patrol. We don't know how many people actually entered through these various unlawful mass parole programs because the Biden-Harris administration refused to give us numbers and data, and that's even after former Chairman Green issued a subpoena for the data. Why are they hiding the numbers? Because parole was out of control, and it would have been a political disaster if the American people knew how bad it was. And they abused this authority in support of an open-ended borders agenda. Congress created immigration parole to provide temporary entry into small numbers of aliens on a case-by-case basis. Started 60 years ago, and it was designed to be for a significant public benefit, this case-by-case temporary pause in normal processing, or a urgent humanitarian reason. Presidents and cabinet-level officers in the past have used it to enable essential witnesses to cross the border, testify at criminal hearings, or allow illegals with dire medical conditions to receive aid in American hospitals. One former senior ICE official has said that he paroled just 2 individuals in his entire career. No administration abused parole to such a degree and with such flagrant disregard for congressional limitation as compared to the Biden-Harris administration. While that administration, and then at the time Secretary Mayorkas, refused to provide Congress with clear information, their playbook was clear. The administration exceedingly expanded existing parole programs, such as the Cuban Family Reunification Program, to an amount that strained DHS screening and vetting capabilities. Second, the Biden-Harris administration reintroduced ineffective parole programs that the first Trump administration ended, like the Central American Minors Program. The Trump administration ended these because they served no purpose other than promoting greater illegal immigration and encouraging the exploitation of unaccompanied minors. Third, the Biden-Harris administration just invented new parole programs to release individuals from Afghanistan, Cuba, Nicaragua, Venezuela, Colombia, Haiti into the interior, slapping parole on an inadmissible aliens file. Releasing them into the interior doesn't magically make one less inadmissible. It just means you're not following the laws intended. The parole vetting was so inadequate that one DHS Inspector General report found that 3 Afghan parolees had derogatory information related to felonies in the United States, and at least one had an indication of terrorism-related activity. An additional Afghan national who received parole through Operation Allies Welcome was arrested in my home state, in Oklahoma City, for plotting an election day terrorist attack for ISIS. While Republican members of this committee and millions nationwide recognize the national security threat of providing parole to poorly vetted immigrants, the Biden-Harris administration surged, making it even easier for more individuals to apply for parole through a CB1 application. We even found that during the administration that cartels hijacked that CB1 app to create appointments for would-be parole, for a fee, of course, so that the administration parole program was helping cartels pocket more dollars from desperate individuals. The Biden-Harris administration also raised the legal requirement for granting parole, allowing entry to individuals if they could find a sponsor who could financially support them once within the United States. Even though the law requires parole to be granted only on a case-by-case basis for urgent humanitarian reasons or significant public benefit. By law, that is what it stated before it was upended. Even when an internal DHS report indicated that thousands of potential parole sponsors were filing out fraudulent applications and supporting their financial statements with illegal income, the Biden-Harris administration continued accepting applications after a month-long pause in their review of the program, and that did not last. If this wasn't bad enough, the DHS Inspector General published a report this month stating that during the Biden-Harris administration, DHS did not have a process to address parole expiration. Furthermore, DHS did not prioritize taking enforcement action for paroles who remained in the United States after their parole had expired, usually a 1-year or a 2-year time period. The report concluded that DHS had no assurances that paroles were lawfully present in the United States after their parole expired. When you apply these findings to the estimated millions of parolees let into the country during the Biden-Harris administration, it's very troubling that the administration flagrantly abused parole, and it has serious consequences that continues for the American people. While illegal immigration itself is a huge financial strain on the American taxpayer, parolees are especially expensive because they are eventually eligible for federal welfare benefits. One analysis found that beginning in January of 2026, that's 6 months away, the Biden-Harris parole calamity will cost about $3 billion a year in welfare benefits per 1 million parolees. $3 billion a year for just 1 million. And we know that we believe 3 million. So as the time period ticks on, we're looking at 9 billion, that's a state budget. That's an entire state budget. That's just the quantifiable cost. American citizens face serious national security and public safety costs and a lack of screening and vetting these parolees. The stories are becoming too many to count. Parolees have been charged and convicted of serious crimes, including terrorism, murder, rape, and sexual assault of children. Thankfully, the Trump administration has made it clear that inadmissible aliens hiding behind the fig leaf of parole can no longer hide under the protection of temporary parole and remain in the country. On March 21st of this year, President Trump announced his administration would revoke the parole status for 532,000. That includes the program for Cubans, Haitians, Nicaraguans, Venezuelans, more commonly known as the CHNV program. By returning parole to its proper purpose, the Trump administration can announce to the world and prospective immigrants that parole status cannot be gifted unlawfully and cheaply. More needs to be done. We're here today to determine how we can begin to undo these devastating impacts that illegal paroling did for untold numbers of inadmissible aliens into America and what that impact will be on our states and local communities. We must protect the taxpayer. We must protect the American people. We must protect our sovereignty. We need to further limit and clarify executive parole authority to prevent future abuses.